Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Chip Observer. Where we go beyond the buzzwords and dive into how semiconductor innovations are shaping the world around us. As always, we're presented by Tech Insights, the definitive source for semiconductor analysis, with continued focus on growth and providing value to the industry. And as always, to get the most out of this podcast, we suggest you subscribe and follow to get the latest news and updates. In this episode, we're diving into the transformative world of wearable technology. This is where innovation meets health and fitness in a way that's changing lives every day. Firstly, what are wearables?
What are wearables?
What are wearables?
Do you know?
I don't know.
Well, the term refers to any technology or device that can be worn on the body.
Did you ever wonder what your future will look like? How about trying this future on for size?
Sounds innovative and futuristic, and typically you'd think it's still relegated to the realm of science fiction. But not so much, really. And did you know it's a misconception that wearables are a new idea?
It all started in the 70s, when we introduced the world's first digital watch.
For example, in 1975, Hamilton released its Pulsar wristwatch, cited as one of the first true smart wearables in consumer electronics. And its claim to fame?
Sleek and futuristic, equipped with a digital display.
It was the first calculator watch in the world.
ESR.
It also debuted in solid gold for $3,950 USD. That's $21,000 in today's dollars, adjusted for inflation, of course. And of course, everyone should remember Sony's iconic Walkman.
The Sony Walkman is a tiny stereo cassette player with truly incredible sound. Put on a Walkman and see the world in a whole new light.
Released in 1979, this helped usher in portable audio wearables. And if you've never had to flip a cassette with a pencil or don't know what the B-side of an album is, congratulations, you're officially too young to remember the Sony Walkman. That magical brick of plastic was how we got portable music before streaming. And yes, it could only play one album at a time, if the tape didn't unravel in your backpack first. With that said, nonetheless, Sony did sell over 200 million units before the start of the digital age. We're enamored with all kinds of technology, and we've always been fascinated with trying to make it smaller and faster. Today's notion of wearable technology isn't just geared towards entertainment. It seems to include a focus on better living, time management, and incorporating some type of health monitoring tools. Of course, most already know about your smartwatches and counting steps or tracking heart rates. But more recently, there's been a significant rise in very specific hardware. Example, smart rings, used to track and even regulate sleep patterns. And the not-so-futuristic AR glasses. That's augmented reality glasses for folks out there who need to look it up. I know I did. Fun fact, eyeglasses were the earliest wearables, originating around 1286 in Italy. wearing tech for vision enhancement long predates the modern gadget age. And as someone who wears glasses, I can appreciate that. These groundbreaking devices are not only enhancing our well-being, but maybe setting themselves up to redefine the future of healthcare with customization and health-focused sensors. Wearables have come a long way from fancy risk calculators and portable tape machines or simple step counters. Today, their power lies in the fact that they're physically worn on the body, not just as an accessory, but a monitor with continuous, real-time sensing of the world around and within us. Whether it's your environment, your health, or even your experiences, the type of data these devices can gather are also surprisingly diverse.
Inputs range from environmental sensing for metrics like noise level, location, and altitude, to biotelemetry for metrics like motion, sleep, heart rate, and blood oxygen, to experiential for inputs like video and audio capture, to communications and control.
That's Steve Waltzer. He's Director of Wearable and Market Analysis at Tech Insights. And with over a decade of experience in market research to that role, using both quantitative and qualitative methods to guide semiconductor industry decision-making, he's a leading voice in the wearable device ecosystem. And here he's talking about smart rings. And as the wearables space matures, we're also seeing newer form factors gaining momentum. And for those out there who need to look it up, again, like myself, form factors refers to the physical size, the shape, and design layout of a device or component, a term commonly used in electronics and computing to describe how hardware is built or packaged. And this is affecting such items specifically like smart rings. They're smaller, sleeker, and being recognized for their potential in health tracking. But what really sets them apart is how their design directly influences both comfort and data accuracy.
Smart rings offer a few key advantages: increased comfort, a longer battery life due to the lack of display, and arguably more accurate biometrics, driven by a more secure fit around the finger.
It's fascinating how form factors can influence both experience and data quality. As these devices collect more health data, we're seeing a convergence of medical-grade features and consumer tech. Advanced sensor technology has potential to improve the user experience and even save lives.
For example, some smartwatches offer crash detection and also monitor for irregular heart rhythm and atrial fibrillation.
At this point, let's pivot a little bit. Let's move to the backbone of all of this: sensors. When we talk about wearables sensing the world around us, we need to get an understanding of where sensors fit in this picture. How are they connecting the physical world to a cloud-based intelligence?
Image sensors are acting as pathfinders for linking the sensing of the physical world to the processing power of the cloud.
That's Dan McGrath, by the way. He's a senior technical fellow in image sensors at Tech Insights and a bit of a legend in the tech and chip world. The man knows the ins and outs of the semiconductor industry and often contributes insights on the market trends, product analysis, and intellectual property.
A complete system needs edge devices to sense and transmit what is important in the world. The cloud is deaf, blind, and senseless without sensors. It is just a detached brain.
The idea that the cloud is blind and deaf and needs sensory input to understand the world is a profoundly organic idea and really puts into perspective how this is all working. But given how small and power-sensitive wearables really are. How are sensors and edge processing working together to manage energy and performance more effectively?
Each sensor will need a paired or personalized edge processor that shapes the data and pre-processes it to manage the data flow to provide a solution optimized for low power.
So the edge intelligence is really the game changer here, because it transforms how we process and use data in real time, right where it's created, at the edge of networks and devices. Simply, instead of sending all of that info to a distant cloud, edge intelligence allows for instant decision making, a faster response time, and smarter systems, with a potential to enable everything from autonomous cars and smart factories to personalized healthcare and IoT gadgets to run smoothly and efficiently. Basically, it's making everything more connected, more responsive, and redefining the future of tech as we know it. So, how is this architecture evolving in devices like, say, the Apple Vision Pro and the Aura Ring, where sensors are becoming ultra-compact and multifunctional modules that not only collect data, but shape it before it even gets to the cloud?
The elephant in the room is how much of the edge of the cloud signal processing will shift to the neural networks, and if it does, what will be the key features of the integrated sensor and processor parts.
That's a fascinating turning point. Instead of sending all of your health or activity data to the cloud to get crunched, future wearables are getting smart enough to handle it right there on your wrist, your fingers, and even your face. These on-device brains, tiny neural processors, help your wearables react faster, save battery time and energy, and even keep your data more private. And that also is an important factor: privacy. When your wearables can process data on device using these tiny neural networks, it doesn't have to send your info off to some distant server. That means fewer chances for your personal info to leak or get snooped on. Not only is it faster and more efficient, it's also a lot more secure. Smarter features without compromising your digital dignity. Now let's zoom out a little bit. Looking at the market dynamics. It's important to understand what's driving this expansion and which technologies or applications are actually leading the charge.
The sensor market revenues exceeded $35 billion in 2024 and is set to reach over $50 billion, growing at a CAGR of over 7%.
That was Jeffrey Matthews. He's a senior analyst in sensor markets and a bit of a key thought leader at Tech Insights, specializing in handset component technologies. Sort of a gadget guru, diving deep into the chips, the sensors, the screens, and the secrets hiding inside your smartphone. The global sensor market is expected to hit over $50 billion by 2030. At time of recording, that's just 5 years away. And crunching the numbers, that's actually more than the entire GDP of some countries. Iceland. It's more than the entire current GDP of Iceland. I looked it up. And notably, this growth is all driven by the tiny tech inside your earbuds or the smart ring on your fingers, or even the updated smart hardware in your refrigerator. Fun fact, over half of that market is just image sensors alone. So yes, your phone camera and your selfies are technically part of a global economic engine. But it's not just about growth, it's also about geography. There seems to be a bit of a shift in global supply chain and how regional manufacturing, particularly in China, is influencing the sensor market.
there is a growing demand for made in China sensors, which is reshaping the supply chain preferences, especially for cost competitive and secure sourcing needs of the domestic customers.
And that aligns with what we're seeing across tech verticals, a strong desire for regional self-sufficiency and cost control. But one of the more compelling takeaways, I think, is how sensors are fueling AI's evolution.
Sensors are becoming critical enablers of AI, serving as the front end for real-world data capture across vision, audio, motion, and environment. So as AI moves to the edge, sensor quality and integration will matter more than ever.
So as the sensor market shifts and adapts to global demands, it's not just about cost or convenience anymore. It's about intelligence at the edge and how these tiny components are quietly powering the next wave of AI-driven experiences. So what's the takeaway here? What are we seeing? Wearables are becoming smarter and more health-focused. Emerging form factors like smart rings and glasses are poised for breakout growth. Sensors, particularly image and biometrics, are the key enablers. Edge computing will define the next leap in performance and battery life. And globally, supply chains are localizing while AI is moving closer to the user. Wearables are no longer just about fitness. It's about personal health, environmental awareness, and immersive experiences, all packed into a tiny, powerful device.
Reimagined for today.
A special thank you to Steve Waltzer, Dan McGrath, and Jeffrey Matthews for sharing their notes and insights. There wouldn't be much of a story to tell without their industry knowledge and passion. Again, this episode was only a glance at a broader analysis published on our Tech Insights platform, both as a report and on-demand webinar. We invite you to visit our site at techinsights.com to sign up for free to become a guest user and access these complimentary reports and videos. Links are available in the description below. Please note, the contents discussed here today were for informational purposes only and don't reflect views or opinions of the institutions or organizations mentioned. One final quick disclaimer. Although the script for this episode was fully realized by a real human being, the episode does include some AI-generated components. And lastly, be sure to follow and subscribe for updates and explore more in-depth analysis at techinsights.com. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and stay insightful.